When I found out I'd won £50 million in the lottery, the first thing I thought about wasn't how to spend the money. It was about how to find out who in my family truly loved me. Only one person helped me. And what I discovered about the others shocked me. A small life. My name is Eleanor, I'm 34 years old, and until that Tuesday night, my life was predictably boring. I had worked in the municipal council's licensing department for 12 years, earning a salary that was enough to pay the bills, but never to dream. My routine was always the same: wake up, work, pay bills, sleep. I always played the lottery, but it was more of a ritual of hope than a real expectation. My £15 a week, religiously, with the same numbers, my family's birth dates. Ironic, isn't it? That morning, as I was having my coffee before work, I decided to check the numbers from the previous night's drawing. I read the numbers once. Then again. My heart started racing in a way that made me think I was going to have a heart attack right there. £50 million. I sat on my kitchen floor and cried for an hour. It wasn't just financial relief, it was the feeling that my entire life had just changed. But instead of the euphoria I expected, a bitter feeling took over me. My mind went to my family, the people who always made a point of reminding me that I was the failure of the group. My sister Clara, married to a businessman, who always looked at me with a mix of pity and superiority. My brother David, an engineer at a multinational company, who would make comments about how I had settled in public service. My parents had a subtle way of showing their disappointment. Clara bought a new house. David got promoted again. As for me? Silence. That's when an idea formed in my head. A terrible and brilliant idea. What if I didn't tell anyone about the prize? What if I used this opportunity to find out who really cared about me? The test begins in the following days. I acted in secret. I went to a bank in another city, opened a special account, and transferred all the money. I quit my job, but I made up a story about budget cuts at the council. To all appearances, I was unemployed and desperate. The first week was strange. I had more money than most people would see in a lifetime, but I had to pretend to be worried about rent, buying only the basics at the supermarket, and refusing invitations to restaurants. Then, the test began. I sent a message to the family group chat: I'm worried, I lost my job. The responses were predictable. Clara: oh, Eleanor, you should have studied more when you were younger. It will be hard to get something decent at your age. David: I told you to specialize, mate. The market is competitive, you can't stand still. My parents just said, the situation is tough, dear. We hope you find something soon. No real words of support, no offers to help. Just useless advice and a condescending tone. 2 weeks later, I escalated. I called Clara, crying. I said I was falling behind on rent and didn't know what to do. She replied: Eleanor, you have to be more responsible. I can't keep saving you all the time. And she hung up. I tried with David. Same story, same act. Sister, you need to learn to stand on your own 2 feet. I have my own family to take care of. I can't keep funding other people's mistakes. My parents were the worst. When I called, desperate, pretending I was about to be evicted, my mother sighed deeply and said: Eleanor, you've always been the most difficult of our children. We don't know what to do with you anymore. With every no I received, a part of my heart broke, but another filled with cold determination. I was discovering exactly who the people who claimed to love me were, the unexpected help. But then something unexpected happened. In the midst of all this disappointment, a person appeared in my life in a way I never imagined. A woman named Rosa. Rosa, 58 years old, was the cleaner in my building for 3 years. We always greeted each other, and she always had that genuine smile that lit up the dark hallway. It was on a Thursday that everything changed. I was coming back from the bank. In reality, I had gone to check my millionaire balance, but to all appearances, I was returning from another failed job interview. I walked up the stairs with that dejected look that had become natural from so much pretending. Rosa saw me, put down her floor cloth, and held my hand. Girl, you don't look well. What happened? I thought of making some excuse, but the way she asked made me stop. It wasn't morbid curiosity. It was genuine concern. "Oh, Rosa, it's been tough. Unemployed for almost a month, and the bills are piling up." She looked at me and said, "Honey, I know we don't know each other well, but, are you eating properly?" The question caught me off guard. No one, absolutely no one in my family, had asked if I was eating properly. Rosa, a woman who earned a minimum wage, was offering food to an unemployed person who had 50 million pounds in the bank. "If you need a few pounds for the gas or something urgent, I have a little reserve," she whispered. "It's not much, but it helps." In that moment, something inside me broke. I couldn't hold back the tears. Rosa hugged me right there in the hallway. In the following days, she started showing up at my door with packed lunches, always so naturally, as if it were the most normal thing in the world to take care of a struggling neighbor. The final humiliation, I continued the test, but now with a different objective. I wanted to find out how far my family's greed and hypocrisy could go. And I would use Rosa as my measure of character. I decided to pretend I was sick. I started spreading the word that I was feeling chest pains. I went to the health clinic and told my family that the doctors were worried, but that I didn't have the money to pay for a private cardiologist. When I told Rosa, she grabbed my arm. "Eleanor, this is no joke. The heart is a serious matter. I have a savings account that I was putting aside to replace my fridge, but the fridge can wait. The heart can't." She was offering her life savings to pay for my doctor. Then, I told my family. "Clara, you've always been so dramatic. It must be anxiety. Have some tea and stop being so neurotic. David, Eleanor, you can't be sick right now. Isn't being unemployed enough? Now you're coming up with imaginary illnesses?" My parents managed to be even worse. They called me a hypochondriac and said I always had an excuse to ask for money. "You're needy, Eleanor. Go find help at the church's health ministry. They help people in need." Needy. My own parents called me needy. That I left there with a truly broken heart. The chest pain was no longer an act, it was the pain of rejection. When I got home, Rosa was waiting for me at the gate with a bag. She had bought a used blood pressure monitor for me and gave me £100 from her savings for the exam. £100. Rosa spent £100 she didn't have, while my family, who could have paid it without a second thought, didn't lift a finger. The test that would reveal their true colors once and for all was when I told them about Rosa's help. I scheduled a Sunday lunch and said I had some news. The grand finale: I arrived at lunch with the money Rosa gave me. "Everyone, I got the money for my heart exam," I said. "One person helped me. Rosa, the cleaner from my building. She put together £1,000 from her savings to pay for my cardiologist." The silence was deafening. Then David started to laugh. A malicious, cruel laugh. "You're telling me you're taking handouts from a cleaner? Clara, Eleanor, you've hit rock bottom, taking money from a hired help. My parents, have you no shame? A cleaner is supporting you. You've always been the family's disgrace, but now you're embarrassing us." They didn't just reject me, they humiliated Rosa. This Rosa must think she's superior. I bet she tells everyone how she's saving the poor girl in the building. Only an imbecile would fund other people's problems. My blood boiled. They didn't understand. They couldn't see Rosa's dignity and kindness. That's when something inside me finally broke. I stood up from the table. "You know what? You're right about one thing. I really did find out who I am. And I found out that I am the daughter, sister, and daughter-in-law of disgusting people. People who judge human worth by bank balances. Rosa is worth more than all of you put together. Because she has something that no money can buy: character." I left there. I went straight to Rosa's flat. With a voice still trembling, I told her the truth. "Rosa, I'm not unemployed. I won the lottery. £50 million. And during these months, while my family turned their backs on me, you spent your savings, your time, your food on me. A complete stranger. Please forgive me for the lie." She looked at me, incredulous. "Why did you do that?" Because I needed to know who really cared about me. And I found out that the person with the biggest heart I've ever met lived in my building for years. She broke down crying, and I hugged her. The new beginning. The following week, I began to execute my revenge. First, I bought a duplex penthouse in the city's most luxurious building. Then, a new black BMW. I started appearing at expensive restaurants and luxury shops, always with Rosa by my side, now in designer clothes. The rumor spread. And then the phone started ringing. Clara, Eleanor, my sister. I heard you won the lottery. How wonderful. The whole family is celebrating. Her sugary voice was the same one that had called me the family's shame. David, sister. Congrats. I always knew you were lucky. I was thinking, how about we start a business together? My parents showed up at my door with flowers. Daughter, our millionaire daughter. We're so proud. We always knew you were special. It was disgusting that I decided to throw a party in the ballroom of my new building. I invited everyone. My family showed up all dressed up, smiling, pretending they had always supported me. I asked for silence and began my speech. Everyone, thank you for coming. 3 months ago, I went through a very difficult period. I asked you, my family, for help. When I said I was starving, my sister told me to get a job, even as a cleaner. When I said I needed 2,000 pounds, my brother called me a tramp. When I told them I had heart problems, my parents said I was needy and a hypochondriac. The looks of shock on their faces were priceless. But one person helped me. Rosa, please come here. Rosa approached, with a flushed face but her head held high. Rosa, the cleaner from my building, used her savings to pay for my exams. Rosa brought me food every day. Rosa, who earns a minimum wage, did for me what people with wealth did not. That's why, Rosa, I want to publicly announce. In addition to your new salary as my personal assistant, I'm giving you this duplex apartment that I bought as a gift. The audience erupted in applause. My family was in complete shock. And for you, who judged and humiliated me, there is a message: you will not see a single penny of this money. No loans, no gifts, no inheritance. Nothing. The revenge was perfect. Today, 2 years later, Rosa lives in the penthouse and is my best friend and confidant. My biological family, well, Clara got a divorce when she found out about her husband's infidelity, and David lost his house because his wife found out about his hidden debts and also filed for divorce. They tried to get close again, but some doors, once they are closed, don't open anymore. That I learned that family is not blood. Family is who holds your hand when you're falling, who shares the little they have when you need it, who loves you for who you are, not for what you have. And I learned that 50 million pounds doesn't change who you are inside, it just reveals who other people always were. What would you do if you found out your family only loves you when you have money? Have you ever had to choose between blood and character? Share your story in the comments. Like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more stories of overcoming like this one.